Clipstone Colliiery canteen. The pasties were absolutely superb. And what we used to get is, if you used to do any overtime, you'd get so much cash allowance. So you get like a little chitty to say, you could go and buy something from the canteen. So you'd probably get something like a pasty and some milk. If you was the other end and you were working late, you could get one of your mates to bring it down to you. So they'd bring you some in while you were working.
So you would sit and eat at the cornfields as well?
Oh yeah, there were no toilets, there were no canteen. Wherever this machine stopped for that, so you used to everything stopped 20 minutes. You used to have your food, and then when everything started back up again, that's where you were ready to go again. You relied on the person to be looking and making sure that that the roof wasn't going to come in, and if it was, you could get out of the way.
Were you ever frightened?
A couple of times. Yeah.
Can you remember specifically why?
Probably one time, which was really that was really, really close. That one. We were just putting the leg back because we'd got the girders that we had to fit, and we were putting it back. So it meant that you had to go onto open ground, and I'd got a spotter there, and you, as time goes on, you realise that you just see something just moving, and that's when you just say, time to move, and then like myself, then I'd just run out then. But a slab must have come down. Must have been 12 foot, really. A big slab just come straight down. And it actually, the point end of it, took me vest off and cut me back. So yeah, that was like one of the lads. He says to me, he says, that's a good one. He says, so you can see all the white bits in your back. So it were quite deep, and it were probably about 2 or 3 inch. But yeah, so if I hadn't had the spotter then to say, move, you're talking about seconds. So, but that was common.
What was your favourite part of your job?
I think it was banter. Even if you didn't get on with the person after work and things like that, in work you still had to be professional. You still had to rely on each other, and I think that's the big difference there. Is you were reliant on people. So yeah, you didn't have to be the best buddies, but you had to work together.
Oh yeah, tell me about the banter.
And the banter with Jock and that, because like I said before, he was from Glasgow, very, very broad Glaswegian, very difficult to understand. So you can imagine he's talking to him now, face to face. It was quite difficult to understand him sometimes. But when he got on a tannoy system and he was shouting down, you would have no idea. So a lot of people just shout back to him, why don't you try and talk English, and things like that. So just general banter like that. And he'd come back with some sarcastic comment that he is, or swearing and cursing at you. But yeah, so the banter was there all the time, but you didn't have to be offended by it, because it was what it was. It was banter. It wasn't malicious or anything like that. I don't know how they'd go on today, because you wouldn't dare say anything anymore. It certainly wouldn't be the same atmosphere without all that banter. But Yeah, I'm just trying to visualise it now. Everybody holding the P's and Q's together and just all being nice to each other, and you know, and no banter there. It'd be like, it's just a bit boring, isn't it? You know. So I bet out of the whole area at Garibaldi, just on our close, you know, I bet you were talking 3/4 of them would have been either Geordie or Scottish. So there were a lot of rivalry there between football matches and things like that. But yeah, so it was all good. Yeah. Christmas, New Year, everybody used to have an open house, which meant you just left your door open and people came in and had a drink. That happened every year. So it was just the norm. So it was more communal, I think. So it was more of a community. The only thing with being in a community like that, everybody knew everybody's business. So everybody knew what was happening. Because it was a community, and I think you probably got away with more freedom because you know, I mean, there were no mobile phones, there was nothing like that. Okay, so, you know, you had to play together to do stuff. And I think because of the community and because people knew each other, then you were allowed the freedom to explore a little bit more. So for instance, like us as a child, we used to go into the woods, you know, and when, you know, you'd just tell your mum where you were, and that'd be it for 4 or 5 hours. You know, oh well, whenever you get back, you get back. And I think it was because everybody knew everybody, sort of thing. I think people felt safe. And I mean, I still have to tell my mum because she leaves a door open, unlocked, you know, and she still thinks, I mean, my mum's 90 now, but she's still that thing that, well, you just knock and enter. And that's how it was. People never used to lock the doors. So, you know, you've got to have some sort of community spirit there for you to do that. But yeah. And people don't talk like they used to. I mean, they used to just come across and they used to just, oh, you're putting kettle on, and then they'd come over. So, the wives would just be chatting to each other as well. So they're all community spirit there. So they'd come over, they'd have a cup of tea and whatever. But that was what they did. But I don't think you get that anymore now. I don't think, you don't get people looking out for each other.